I've been using robotic pool cleaners for about 25 years now, and I've owned products from Aquabot, Polaris, and also Dolphin. I'm currently using the Polaris 9650 Sport that I bought about 9 years ago. Now, all of the units that I've ever owned always had cables, and while they've always done what I consider a very good job cleaning my pool, the one pain point was all of them at one time or another got their cable tangled, and I had to untangle it. My Aquabot actually once had a problem where I had it set accidentally to continuous use, and it ran for like 2 days. I had forgotten that I had done that. I programmed it wrong. And the continued use just kept tangling the cable more and more until it actually got wrapped up in one of the wheels. And from it rubbing against it for hours, I don't know, until I found it, it actually wore through the rubber cable protector. And the unit was trash. I had to throw it out. And that's when I got the Dolphin. That worked fine for a few years. And that led me up to this Polaris unit. And the reason why I got this unit was it has a really cool cable management where, see, this thing spins here, and it's supposed to keep the cable from tangling. It actually does a very good job. But even this unit, every now and then I've got to come out and unplug the other end from the base unit, stretch it all the way out and untangle it because it gets tangled over time. So I'd always said when the Polaris was time to retire, I was going to try out the cable-free robotic pool cleaners. And that's what we're going to do here today. I have the Spino E1 cordless robotic pool cleaner from Mammotion in the state of Charge Garage. And I'm going to be doing an unboxing and first use review video. So I am cutting the cord. Let's get into it. All right, so today I'm going to be reviewing the Spino E1 cordless robotic pool cleaner from Mammotion. This unit here has 5 distinct cleaning modes. It can vacuum up to 5,800 gallons per hour. It'll run for 3.5 hours between charges, and it comes with the Mammotion app to control the unit. I haven't cleaned my pool in almost 2 weeks now, so it's good and dirty. We're going to take it out of the box, set it up, and do a first use review video here today. So with that said, let's open the box and see what comes inside. Today's video is sponsored by evchargingstations.com. If you drive an electric vehicle or you're planning to, this site is packed with comprehensive charger reviews, detailed DC fast charging graphs, and the latest news from all of the fast charging networks. You'll find real-world testing, easy to understand comparison, and deep dives into how different electric vehicles actually charge. Before you buy an EV charger or plan your next road trip, make sure to bookmark evchargingstations.com and make smarter charging decisions. Okay, let's take a look at what comes in the box. Obviously, we've got the unit here. It weighs 22 pounds, so it's not ultra light, but it's not too heavy. Most people should be able to lift this up out of the pool when they need to recharge it without a problem. The power cord is here. Comes with a hook to pull it out of the pool if for some reason maybe the battery is completely dead, because when it needs to recharge, it takes itself up to the water line so you could lift it out of the pool. But I suppose there'll be instances where this might be at the bottom of the pool and you don't want to have to jump in to get it out. You hook this onto your skimmer pole. You remove the skimmer head and put this on the skimmer pole. Then you could hook it around here and lift it up out of the pool. It has the owner's manual here, which, just like the Mammotion Luba 3 robotic lawnmower that I have, the print is so small, I don't think anybody is going to read this. You can get that same instructions online if you really need it, and the font will be big enough for you to read. And it also has this quick start guide here, which is really all you should need to get it going. It's very simple to get going, which we're going to get into in a minute. But first, let's take a look at the Spino E1's key features. The unit currently costs $499.99. The dimensions are 17.5 inches long by 16.25 inches wide by 9.6 inches high. It weighs 20.5 pounds. Now, I said earlier during the unboxing that it weighed 22 pounds because I read that on the box, but that was the total weight of the unit, including the charger and the retrieval hook. The unit itself only weighs 20.5 pounds. It has a suction capacity of 5,800 gallons per hour. It has 3 brushless motors. 2 are used for propulsion and 1 is used for suction. It can filter particles as small as 180 microns. The scrubbing system is an 11.4-inch PVC roller brush. It has a 6,000 milliamp hour lithium-ion battery with a total capacity of 0.1296 kilowatt hour. It has a single charge running time of up to 210 minutes, which is 3.5 hours. It takes 3 hours to fully charge from 0 to 100%. It has an IP8X battery protection waterproof rating. It has 17 high-precision sensors to optimize the cleaning paths. It has automatic waterline parking for retrieval when the job is finished. It is safe for standard chlorinated and also saltwater pools, and the unit is made in China. And now let's take a look at the Spino E1's warranty. Now, this is something that I can usually rattle off really quickly, but as you can see here, Mammotion has different limited warranty periods depending on the component. So we'll start off with the items that have a 2-year warranty. That would be the motor module, the top cover, the chassis, the Caterpillar tread drive, and the roller shaft. The rest of the items here have a 3-month limited warranty, and that would be the left side cover, the right side cover, the hook, the filter basket, the left roller brush, the right roller brush, the Caterpillar tread, and the charger. And now let's take a closer look at the Spino E1. Okay, it's got this handle on the front. One thing I noticed, there's no handle on the back to pick it up. You feel like you want to grab here, but if you do that, the lid pops open to where the basket is. This is how you empty the basket. You just lift that up, lift this out here, and then there's a little tab on the side. You press down, this opens up, and then you dump it out. You're probably gonna have to get in there and get all the leaves and stuff out because they're typically gonna be stuck to the sides. I usually use a hose to hose it from the outside, and it kind of pushes everything out. Then it drops right back in. Now, before I put it back in, let's take a look at how this unit actually performs. Underneath here, this is where it sucks everything in, where the vacuum occurs. If you notice, this goes right to where the basket is. On the bottom of the basket, there's a hole here with a flapper. See this? It flaps so it sucks up in and the debris can't come out. When it's trapped in the basket, the water continues through and sucks through this side here where it gets pushed out the top here. And that provides the suction also to keep it to the walls and just to get all the debris up. So let's drop this in. Super easy, very easy to clear out, take out, and empty. Okay, so again, let's take a look on this underneath. These two, I guess, wheels that scrub the walls and pick up the debris and kind of push it backwards, these can be replaced, and they're really simple. I was actually impressed with this design here. They literally just pull apart, and then you can take them out and replace them with new blades. There's 2 individual sweepers here, 1 on each side. Each one is just under 6 inches. The only problem is I can't find them to buy them. I was looking up online to see what they cost. So I went to the Mammotion website, and under the accessories section, they have accessories for their other devices, but nothing for the Spino E1. Certainly not these roller brushes. So I went to Amazon and did a search there, nothing. Then I went to the Mammotion store on Amazon, again, nothing. And when I did a complete internet search, I did find the item available on a couple European websites, but nothing here domestically. And there's a left and a right, so they're not interchangeable, but nothing here, which is definitely odd because this isn't a new unit. It's been available here in the US for quite some time now. Sometimes when new products get introduced, it takes a month or two for accessories and parts to come available online, but this is not new. So it's kind of weird. I'm sure at some point it's going to be offered, but right now you're going to have a hard time replacing these if you need to, because I couldn't seem to find them to purchase anywhere. I suppose I could order them from that European website and have them shipped here, but the shipping will certainly cost more than the item itself. That's definitely not a good solution. This is where it charges. You remove this plug here, and this plugs in. Let me do this, only one way to do it. There we go. So now the unit, okay. So now it's plugged in and it's going to start charging. When it's charging, there's a light on the front here that pulses very slowly. And I believe when it finishes charging, that just remains green, but I'll see once it's done. And here's the charger. I have it plugged into the wall. One thing I will note, my first disappointment with this unit is this isn't waterproof. I mean, really? A pool vacuum and the charging dock can't be left outside. It can't be left in the rain. It can't sit outside. That's a big minus for me, because I'm even thinking, like, the unit's done cleaning the pool. I lift it up out of the pool. Well, what do I want to do? I want to immediately plug it in for the next use. I have to take it inside my house. So, I have to let it all completely dry out. I'm not going to drag this thing into the house with it dripping wet. So that's a big negative for me. Super disappointed. At the very least, they should offer a waterproof one as an option that you could pay for. I would get that for sure. But in any event, that's how it works. You've got to take this thing undercover. If this end of it was super long, that'd be even better, because maybe you could leave this unit inside and have this running outside and just plug it in, but you can't. Maybe this connection here can't get wet also. But again, poor design as far as I'm concerned. I don't like the fact that I got to bring this thing inside to charge it undercover. That's a big negative. Okay, I'm going to let it continue charging, and then we'll drop it in the pool. We'll see how well it does. All right, so the unit is all charged up. I'm going to turn it on now and set it for the all setting, because I want it to clean the floor, the walls, and also the water line where sometimes dirt builds up. As I mentioned earlier, the pool's pretty dirty. Haven't vacuumed it in about 2 weeks. I didn't have to use the pool because I was actually away doing a couple press events, so I haven't been home. So this is perfect timing for this. Now, the only thing that I'm a little concerned with is, you can see over here to my left, the steps. These are steps that I added to the pool only a couple of years ago. And that's because my parents live next door. My dad's 89, my mom's 86. And they were finding it difficult to climb up the ladder and get in and out of the pool. So I bought this step system here, and where I installed it, created a little nook on this side over here. And the Polaris, which is actually right here, I gave him a front row seat for this. I think he's feeling a little jealous right now. But the Polaris gets stuck over here all the time and can't get itself out. I have to come out and pull it out. It happens like 2 or 3 times during every cleaning session. So I'm really interested to see if the E1 can get itself out of that corner. I'm pretty confident that it's going to be able to do everything else. How well it does it is going to be the question. But I have a lot of experience with these pool cleaners between the Polaris and the previous units that I've had. So I know what to expect. I know what is good and what is marginal and what isn't good. So let's turn the unit on. I'm going to press the button now. Got to hold it for a little till it beeps. And when it turns on, the default setting is floor. So I've got to press it to wall, to eco, then over to all. Okay, I've got the all setting. Now I'm going to drop it in. Lower it in slowly so the air comes out. And now it's turned on. I see it's starting to suck because the water is coming out of the top. All right, and it's going. So now we're gonna see how long it takes and how well it does. We'll check back when the unit is complete. It's immediately coming up, I notice, to the water line. Very cool. We'll check back in when it's done. And with that, the Spino E1 went to work. You can see the leaves at the bottom of the deep end of the pool swirling around due to the pressure of the water returning to the pool from the filter. You don't notice that much in real time, as you can see it here in time lapse, and that means the pool vacuums have to do the same area multiple times to get everything because the debris is moving around. That's not the case with a robotic vacuum cleaner for inside your home or a robotic lawnmower. The E1 rotated around the pool, cleaning the water line first before moving on to systematically cleaning all of the areas on the floor and walls more than once. I noticed that it did momentarily get stuck in the corner of the stairs that traps the Polaris cleaner, but it did free itself and continue cleaning the pool. That's something that my Polaris cannot do. It gets stuck there and I have to pull it out. After 2 hours and 33 minutes, the Spino E1 was finished and navigated up the wall near the staircase and waited for me to pull it out. All right, so it took about 2.5 hours to clean the pool. And the battery was pretty low at that point. It says it's a 3.5 hour runtime, but I'm not sure it can go that long. And it wasn't even on the turbo setting. I learned about the turbo setting while it was cleaning the pool. I did some more research. And as I said, this was my first use video. And I learned that in the app, there's another setting. There's those settings we went over before just by pressing the button on the front. But then there's a beta setting in the app that you can set to turbo, and it sucks even stronger. So what I actually did was I let it run again, but we're going to talk about that in a second. The first time on the regular all setting, it did a pretty good job. It did a really good job around the perimeter of the pool, the water line, I can say for sure, because I noticed there was definitely bugs and debris kind of stuck to the wall, and it cleaned that really well. Another thing that I want to mention is my pool actually didn't look that dirty in the video, and it was dirty. When I looked at it afterwards while I'm editing this, I'm like, wow, the pool looks pretty clean before I started. It really wasn't. You couldn't tell though. I hadn't vacuumed it in about 2 weeks, so there was definitely a film of dirt across the whole bottom of the pool, but it just didn't show up well on the video. So I could see if it missed any spots, and it didn't. It cleaned the whole bottom of the pool and the walls really well. The only thing I will say is in the edges where the floor meets the walls, and there's an angle, did leave some debris along that crack there, which is normal. I haven't had any of my robotic pool cleaners able to get that out in the first time. If I let it run, 2 or 3 times consecutively, sometimes it'll do better. I think it kind of kicks up the dirt and gets it out of the crack, and then it can vacuum it up. And this was just one run with the Max. So what I did was I went back out, charged it up, took about 3 hours like they claim, turned the turbo on in the app and set it out, let it run again, and did a better job this time with the cracks where the floor meets the walls. It got about half of it out. So still not perfect, but like I said, none of these pool cleaners actually get that out entirely. I'll usually go in the pool with like the skimmer and just kick that dirt out and then let it clean, and then it can do it. So that to judge it on that and say it did a bad job isn't fair, because none of the units actually can do that. But on the Max mode, it did do a little bit better. So, but the rest of the pool was clean. It didn't get stuck in the corner where the Polaris always gets stuck. Temporarily did. If you look at the time lapse, I noted it was over there for maybe a minute. It didn't look that long on the time lapse, but it was trying to figure out how to get out, but it got out. The Polaris doesn't get out. When it gets stuck in that corner, one of us has to run out and free it, because it'll just sit there for the whole time, just keep spinning the wheels, and then shut off when the time is over. So that was good. But I'm impressed. I'd give it maybe a B- to B, which is a solid score. Consider it's only $499. There's units out there that cost a lot more than this. It's small, it's relatively lightweight, 20.5 pounds isn't feather, but it's easy for me to at least pull out. And I think it did a good job. I'm very happy with it. I will continue using it throughout the summer. We'll do another long-term review at the end of the summer after I've used it 10 or 20 times between now and September. On the negatives, we talked earlier about the charger, but I did a little bit of research on that, and I found that the competing units don't have waterproof charging units either, which to me just seems so odd that they wouldn't invest a little bit more and allow you to just leave everything outside and plug it in. I don't want to have to carry this inside the house. I guess I won't. I'll just let it sit out and dry off and then bring it close to the house and plug it in, or only charge it when it's not raining outside. It just seems like it wouldn't cost too much to have a weatherproof charging unit available for it. I mean, I'm in the electric vehicle charging business with cars, and all of the charging equipment that's made for electric vehicles, even the small portable 120 volt ones, they're weatherproof. You can leave those outside. So I'm surprised they don't have something like that for this, but evidently it's not industry standard. So I can't really ding the Spino E1 too much on that because their competitors don't have it either. And the other thing I want to mention is basket, very easy to lift in and out, to empty out. It cleaned out really easily. And I mentioned earlier that this can filter out debris down to 180 microns. That's not great as far as pool cleaners go. For instance, my Polaris sells multiple baskets with different size holes in the basket. And the standard one that came with the unit, I found, was leaving behind some small sand and dirt particles. So I was able to order one and get it online that filters out dirt down to 60 microns, which is much smaller than what this comes standard with. So I checked online. Doesn't seem like Mammotion makes a basket, or a third party doesn't make a basket yet, at least, that you can buy to filter down to smaller particles. And I think that long term, I'm going to notice a difference in this and the Polaris, because the Polaris, I use the standard basket most of the time. And then maybe once a month, I swap the baskets and I put the finer one in there. And that picks up stuff that the other basket doesn't, that passes through. So I think that's something that Mammotion could do, is offer a second basket with smaller holes so that it filters out smaller particles. But other than that, I'm pretty happy with it. The charging time is fine. When you're done with cleaning the pool, I wouldn't care if it took 6 hours to charge. You don't use it consecutively like that, but 3 hours is more than reasonable. The run time was a little disappointing. Like I said, only 2.5 hours, and the battery was pretty exhausted. If you noticed, it lifts itself up to the water line. It'll hold it there for about 10 to 15 minutes. And if you don't come rescue it, it powers down, doesn't want to drain the battery completely. It's going to sink to the bottom of the pool. That's when you use that supplied hook that they give you to hook around here and pull it up, lift it out of the pool. So you've got about 10 or 15 minutes to come collect it. What it should do is the app should notify you that, hey, the pool's done cleaning, come get me. You've got 10 minutes, and maybe have a countdown on the app. It doesn't do that. When this is working and it's in the pool, the app can't connect to it. It should be able to once it lifts up to the water line when it's done, but it doesn't. So the app isn't very useful. I have the Mammotion Luba 3 lawnmower, and the app is awesome. It lets you even view the cameras on the side of the lawnmower as it's going. It gives you a whole map of the area it's completed, the percentage of the lawn that's done, how much more it has to do, how much time it has. You don't get any of that with this, which understandable, down 8 feet under the water. I'd imagine it's not going to be able to connect, but it would be cool if it had that feature. I'd love to have the cameras functioning so I could see it, navigating under the water. I mean, just for fun, it really doesn't give you any useful information, but it would be cool to watch that. In any event, you do get a record of the cleaning times with it. It shows you when it started, when it ended, and how many minutes it was. Other than that, there's really not much that the app does. You can set it depending on what type of pool you have, whether it's tile or another type of surface, but there's not many things that you can really set and adjust in the app, unlike the Mammotion Luba 3 lawnmower that has dozens of different settings that you can change in the app. This is just kind of drop it in the water and let it go. If you want to have extra suction power, turn on the turbo, but that's pretty much it, which is fine. Sometimes it's great to have things very simple. The apps that come with the robotic autonomous lawnmowers can be a little overwhelming, not just the Mammotion one, even the ones made by other brands, because there's so many different settings and things you can do. A lot of owners don't want to deal with that. They just want to charge the unit up, turn it on, and let it do its job. And you get that with the Spino E1 robotic vacuum cleaner. So, all right, well, that's all I have here today. I'm going to do a long-term review on this at the end of the summer after I've used it for a while. But starting off, I'm happy with it. This is going to replace the Polaris for now. That's going to go in the corner of the garage and use this for the rest of the summer. We'll do a long-term review sometime in September. And if this is your first time here at State of Charge, please hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell so you don't miss any upcoming electric vehicle and also battery-powered autonomous device reviews. And as always, thanks for watching. Bonus time. So, as I do with all my review videos, I sent Mammotion a copy of the video to review before I post it. I do that to give them the opportunity to tell me if anything I've said or done is incorrect. They cannot edit the video. They can't change the results if I'm not happy with them. But I want to be factually correct, and that's why I give the makers of the products the opportunity to look at the video before I post it. And while everything was factually correct, there's two things I want to mention. Mammotion did say that, yes, I'm correct that the parts aren't available yet, but that's because it's a new product and it will be very soon. You'll be able to order parts for it online. That's number one. Number two, they also agree with the basket that I mentioned, that the only basket you can get for it only filters out debris down to 180 microns. They're coming out with a second optional basket that you can purchase, no price yet, that filters down to 20 microns. Now that's even more than the 60 micron basket that I have for my Polaris. So this should filter out even smaller particles. I will absolutely get that when it's available, and I'll include it in my long-term review of this product. Thanks for watching.